AX for retail uses Store Connect to exchange data between AX and the POS systems at the store. To highlight some of the functionality, we're going to go for a simple scenario here of creating a new POS terminal and then adding it to an existing store. So we just create the new terminal. It's for store 10 and it's register free. And we assign it here to store 10. So the rest of the configuration we won't go in there. We're just going to look what that means for the data distribution. So we switch over to the retail scheduler, and creating a new terminal will also create a new distribution location. So each store, each terminal, and also each store group has a distribution location and a corresponding distribution group. So if we look at the distribution groups, for example, we'll take a look at these subgroups here, which is one of the subgroups should be store 10. And if we look at the member list, this new register has been added to this distribution group as well. Next thing we need to do is adding this to the default distribution list. As you notice, headquarters is also a distribution location and also has a record as a store. So if we go in here, there's a default include list. We need to add this terminal to it, so when you run a scheduler job, it will actually be included as well. So the other thing we're going to look at is how you would actually set up this distribution and also some of the Store Connect functionality. One of the things is the upload options. Here you can actually configure that the status messages that Store Connect creates when any data package is transferred can be uploaded to AX to later monitor and see if there are any errors. So some of the basic options, you can just enable upload, or can specify if you want only error messages to be uploaded, and how frequently those messages should be uploaded. Then the other thing is the Store Connect profile. We're just looking at a configured one. Here you specify the service name that you used when you installed Store Connect. The server name is the actual PC name that it is installed in. Then a port number, that is the port that Store Connect will be listening on. And then for the upload here, we're actually using the transaction service. So you select the transaction service that has been configured, and then also the upload options that we just looked at. Next thing is you send down this configuration to Store Connect. So that basically sends all the upload options to Store Connect. One other thing that I want to quickly highlight is you can also test the connection or the configuration and see if that is actually working. So if you just want to quickly see if we can actually connect to this instance of Store Connect, it will essentially to kind of ping on that port. Then we also need to create a database profile for this new terminal, since this terminal actually uses its own database. So we call it 10,003, and we're selecting the SQL Server version. That server name is the actual PC name. Since this is on my local PC, it's AX. It's a server name here from my VM. And then the database name, and then we'll say we want to encrypt this database connection and select the Store Connect that we want to use to connect to this database. And the same thing here, you can do a test connection to see if that configuration is actually valid. And then the next thing we need to do, we actually assign this newly created database profile to this distribution location. Now that the configuration is complete, we actually want to send some data down there. If we look at here the pre-actions, which are basically generated anytime you modify some data in AX, we see a new entry here for the new terminal that we just created for in the RPO terminal table. So this pre-action will then be converted to actions that essentially converts all the other entities that need to be sent. So if we look at the actions here, so we have an entry for the RPO terminal table, and as if you notice here, it also creates other actions like for the discount offers, etc., that will be sent down to the terminal as well. To actually send this down, we're using scheduler jobs. So a scheduler job is really just a definition of related data. And in addition to that, we have here the subjobs, which actually define the mapping between the tables. So I can specify the table in the AX and the table name in POS, and also which fields are transferred. So you come here, and then let's say we just want to run an A job. You could run this manually and send the data. But most likely you want to actually set this up and have this running on a specific schedule. So we can just go here, and let's say we highlight all those jobs here, and then we actually want to use the AX batch framework to do this. So we create a new batch job for this, and let's say we just want to run this every 30 minutes, and that will then execute those scheduler jobs within a batch job every 30 minutes. The other thing you probably want to set up as a batch job is the convert pre-actions. As I showed you earlier, you can do this manually, or you can schedule this here as well and run it on as part of the batch framework. One additional thing that you need to do for this new terminal is to create a P job. And to kind of quickly explain some of the differences here, as you noticed, we have A jobs which are action based. Basically, there's only send deltas. If there's anything changed in AX, it will be sent down to the appropriate locations. Then we have N jobs, which basically send all data. This is really just every record in that table will be sent and inserted into the POS database. And the P job is a pull job which pulls sales transactions up from POS. So if we need a new P job for this new register that we just created, so we go in here, copy an existing one, call it 1003 for the terminal. The next thing we have to do is basically just change the description. It is for terminal 3 now, and here the location. It is register 3 10,000, so it's location 10,003. And then basically using this, you could then upload the sales transactions from this new terminal. And the last thing I would like to show is we configured the upload options for Store Connect. So we should have all the status messages uploaded here into AX. So you can see here, whatever job numbers you have, where it happened, how many records were effective, when it happened, etc. There are certain options here, so you could just look at any of the errors. So we haven't had any errors here. And the other thing is, if you pick one of those messages here, you just can select the latest messages. So for example, if a data download, like a price change, goes out to 200 stores, you could see all the records related to this data download for those 200 stores. And in addition to that, if you want to see more details, you can click here on the message details, which will show you additional information, like really the configuration of the connection string, for example, where the temporary files were located, the distribution filter, etc., etc.